type of sport, but it didn't work like it's supposed to. So I've got the IT people looking for something else for me. Yeah, but I'm not really. Okay, all right, well, let's go ahead and do this then. It is 8:30 a.m. and I'm gonna call this meeting to a conclusion. And we have, being recorded, thank you very much for being simulcast on YouTube this morning. In the name of transparency, we're doing this with all public meetings that I post nowadays. So that being said, no one signed up to join us for public forum or public comment this morning. We by the 8 o'clock deadline. So at this time, we would open forum. Anybody in the room have anything that's not on the agenda that you talk about? You've crowd together. You've crowd. All right. Well, there's nobody here for open forum, so I just show up and readdress that. So I knew he was on vacation when I called this meeting. He wanted to not. I said no, go on vacation. The reason I'm calling this meeting at this time is the purpose of these maps. So that's the last thing is which are districting 11 precinct maps. We've gone back and forth the last 30 days with Professor Morrison, our redistricting council in Waco. He's done this for decades. He's doing it for the state. I thought I need to sit down. And so Monday I went down there and spent almost 2 hours with him and on the computer and this here and there trying to get the numbers to equal out. So they're not exactly equal, some are larger than others, but what we've got now is an election precinct map that takes the number of total election precincts from 22 down to 13. It is going to, there's no precinct with, which is actually the numbers in this thing. I'll tell you the numbers. There's no precinct, not total population, but population over 18. That's just good voting population. There's nothing more than 3,500 or so in there. Oh, yeah, the next that's on the price.
You did? I'm having some contact issues this morning.
Okay. Okay. So what we're looking at the field notes, field notes. I'll go back. Mike Morrison. There we go. Apparently I have some eyesight issues myself. That's what I want to. So I'm gonna pull this Excel file up here and just run the numbers on this. So looking at this, we're looking at the precincts, 13 precincts, and you're looking at the percent of 18 plus population. It says right here that there is not a single precinct over 2,900. We got everybody, so 2,100, 2,300, 2,400, 2,600. You do have some precincts that are a little smaller, 1,600. Even combining those, you can't get the population you need. But they get geographically so huge that it's not equitable to make them drive any further than they are. So 2,000, the smallest precinct now will be precinct by population number 7 right here. It's going to have 1,076 people in it, or 1,067 people in it, 18 plus years of age. But you see geographically how large that precinct is. It touches Hillsborough, the county lines. You just can't make it any bigger. It's unfair to people who make them drive any further. So that precinct is going to be smaller than the others. 2,600, 1,700, 2,800. Actually, I saw the smallest one was that. It's not true. 11 is our smallest precinct, 950. 11 is this precinct here. It's this smaller. Again, like I said, population, we combine through Will Orr's suggestion of combining Malone and Penelope together. That's a huge precinct from one side to the other. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to vote at in it. But it basically just follows that FM road through there. Yeah, it's a huge geographical area, but there's just not a lot of population down there. So you wind up with a smaller precinct. And the last two precincts are 1,900 and precinct number 13 is our largest at 2,900. And we whittled on 13 to get it down to a smaller, more manageable number. Again, these maps are predicated upon this, not just reducing the number of precincts from 22 to 13, but we are going to open not one, but 3 early vote sites this primary. And we're going to do early vote in Hubbard, Hillsborough, and Huron. 3 H's, you can't miss Hubbard, Hillsborough, and Huron. The rationale behind that is that historically we've not had large turnout of people for early vote in those areas. We think that we will have some commentary about this. We don't expect Hubbard and Montcalm and Penelope and Malone to be a huge early vote turnout. But because we have combined these precincts 4 and 2, we're going to put that there. These folks have the opportunity, historically, we do have people from these areas, 1714 or 714, go up here. So that's kind of where we're at. So where we're at in these maps is no longer Woodbury. This map is incorrect. Morrison printed the wrong ones. Dang it, Morrison. I didn't just catch that. Anyway, so the maps that you sent, got sent on an email, those are the correct maps. No longer Woodbury. So what we did was took that file. You can look at
I
that.
don't think I was able to open it. It
We
was
gotta
a
get
weird
this right.
file.
This is too, it's a shaped file.
Okay.
It's,
I think the second one,
Melissa, if you're listening, can you open a DBF file? Anyway, so the old 14 we pulled out, it's been renamed 5. Everything's been numbered sequentially, so 1 through 13. No missing, no 1, 22, 19, 8. No, it's 1 through 4, 13.
It's
So
hard to piece this one together from what you sent,
that, yeah,
but I was missing.
yeah, that's okay, thank you for doing that. Anyway, what you're looking at here in living color, I sent this to Melissa. Just so everybody's seeing these things, if you're able to open them before you see them, but if not. I want
Yeah,
you
the
to-
color is a lot better to understand.
Yeah.
I have color printers.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them myself,
I'll print those off the ones that you sent individually.
I think that I was
Yeah.
able to open those.
I was able to open those, but not the main. ones.
Yeah.
So these,
Yeah.
you can see these.
Yeah.
On your phone, and so you're looking at what we're saying here, and this is one of the shape, he changed the format type, shape of PDF, I guess he's afraid we're gonna show this to somebody else, I don't know. Anyway, but you can see, we didn't make any changes from the original maps, the second ones on Mount Hubbard, that's still combined. Penelope and Malone are still combined. 7 did not gain any area nor lose any area in this proposal. Simply because of the size of it, it's so big. What really happened over here at the end of the day was we chopped some of Itasca, which is 10 off.
Do you have the documents?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. If you could put them up on the screen, that would be great. I didn't know we had that ability, so I'm kind of impressed now. So my daughters are here, I'm sure they tell what that means. And as you can see that we chopped some out of 10, trying to take some of that population of 10 was so huge. We're trying to reduce it, so we put it back into 1 and put some of that population over into 9, which is a box just in the east of 1. You know, again, our goal is not to have overwhelming population in one district to try to even things out so that the workload's a little better, know what they expect. 8 is a funky looking district, and you're like, Justin, how'd you come with those lines? Very simple. We had to take Prairie Valley, we had to do something, yeah, not Prairie Valley, we had to take, anyway, 8 took part of 5 in. There's very, very little population in that eastern leg of 8. I mean, very little population. Same thing with the old, what used to be Guam, which is going to be a Huron voting center now, there at Mission One Center. We took the majority of Woodbury and stuck it back there because it's the easiest way to get back, and there's such a low amount of population there.
Is that the biggest one as far as
Sure,
miles?
yes,
I think I'm an 8.
you're,
I am an 8.
yeah, you're an 8.
And that's
Yeah,
their numbers.
their numbers.
I was in 12 and now I'm in.
So where in Huron did y'all find a place to, you said Huron, right?
Do you know where,
I was in the.
do you know where Rowdy, yeah, do you know where Rowdy?
No.
Okay.
Oh, the buildings, yes. I
It's
do.
behind, it's that bigger building that's
But all those buildings on those 7 acres, that they're removing the precinct barn
Oh,
out of Plum, we're putting the JP, the constable outpost up there, it's gonna be our.
Yeah.
We need presence in that area.
Yeah.
If you look at that area up there, if you take area from north of city limits, city limits, south of Plum city limits, you incorporate it, it is the largest single population center in all of Canada. 2010 census, I've not seen this data yet from 2020, but the 2010 census, 56% of our population lived in an unincorporated west of Interstate 35. We know that the people are there. Look at our criminal dockets, 1/3 of our criminal dockets. You see they're making changes there. We know that that area is booming and we need to pay attention to what's going on up there. It's been, so we've been
well, I
working
love
on
people are gonna love having that there.
What's
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
I said the what?
Lime Bluff will still go to 2604, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Well, for early voting is what I'm
Maybe.
talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll still go to,
So look here on this one. So if you look at the map
Hard to
closely,
see.
yeah.
I'm just gonna
it's-
take a screenshot of it so I can scroll through and hang on.
So where you're at there, Meadow Moore, White Bluff Drive, White Bluff is an 8. So White
Oh.
Bluff is an 8, and 8 goes down to basically Country Club Road and across.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 goes from the lake to the west, takes in White Bluff, and then goes.
So all of this is White Bluff then.
Correct,
yeah.
all 8, yeah.
Y'all
and
got
then
everything
goes
in
up.
there.
Yeah, because those are DVF files, and I can't get those DVF files to open either.
What about the individual email?
Yeah.
The one that
I
had-
can send those to her, I'm not sending them to her. If you
Oh, yeah,
can figure out how to
those-
open a PDF file, there's a file in there, I'd love to shape file in there, that's the whole county. I need a picture of it if it's possible, but Desktop Explorer, I think is one thing you can open it with. Now, Tom opened it with, and you said?
Oh, I got a bunch of weird stuff when I tried to open it.
I've tried, so.
I just get, yeah, just a whole bunch of like,
Well, mine got into some trouble loop at one point where it only opened, tried to open the W until it no, it's something else. And finally I got out of that after about 3 minutes. And then it got home Internet Explorer. Geographically, they're huge, guys. But numerically, here's the numbers up on the board.
What is this little,
yeah, I do like
is
that.
this what you were saying yesterday? No, I just kind of dips in
The precinct one?
the line here.
Yeah.
To make it more,
No, that's the mark between that line is the line between precincts,
is it the yellow line?
between commission precincts.
This is what you said.
Perfect, Mark, you're right. Here we go. So right here, look at this. So over here, this is precinct what? Number 6? Yeah, 6. 6, that's the group. This is precinct 2 commissioner, that's precinct 3 commissioner.
Okay.
So that all exists. That's all been there for the last 10 years.
So when you do the 3 early voting places, that's gonna be open countywide, no matter where you live.
I believe so. And again, Aaron's already out on vacation. Did that make cancel vacation? That is my understanding.
Well, yeah, but you can come over here.
Because here's the deal, our equipment is capable of or early vote, or for whatever weird reason, the SOS won't let us do it the day of vote. I really look forward to the day that we can do countywide voting. You can walk in any precinct in Hill County, no matter where.
Well, I know we do it countywide on election day, you have to turn the paperwork and request it and stuff, has that been done?
No. The SOS is not certified on machines. Even though we're allowed to do it for early vote, because we've always used the same
Yeah.
machines, countywide vote for early vote. You've ever heard. So yeah, no, we are looking into it, Minnesota certified park intercivic, with the Secretary of State to do countywide voting, we're in, I want to take it that way if the commission is in agreement. I just think it makes it easier for people. to
Oh,
vote.
I agree with you.
No, there should never be an impediment to somebody voting.
Where's
Easy
precinct
law.
6 gonna be voting?
And Hillsborough, I presume. Now, none of that's been pinned down for sure. We all have ideas, but at the end of the day, Aaron's gonna get the final thing, bring it to us and say, he gets to say where they vote, but precinct 6, right now, you can vote either at the fairgrounds, no. Let me pull that map back up. Precinct 6 can vote At Covington, they can vote, on that, there it is. So precinct 6 can vote at Franklin Street,
I think the three emails that we got, there's one of them that's missing, I think.
That's what-
Yeah.
Maybe Morrison, we only got 3 from Morrison, so, the precinct 6 can vote in any of the locations that the old precinct, 2 voted in. Okay.
Hey. These are approved in, but yeah, he called a meeting for today, for just us. Yes, we do, we're all here with you, so. Yes, he is. Call me on, Facebook.
Or Zoom, or
Or Zoom.
it's Zoom. Hello.
Say it again.
The old precinct.
Right.
That one is still, that's something that they brought in corrected.
Look, let's check that line out, Will, and make sure that, because that's something we kind of focused on there. If she's talking about the Prairie Valley area, go to the west side of the precinct over there, right up here down this area. Is that precinct what, 5? No, that's the Aquila, that's Aquila there. Prairie Valley's over here on the west side, but it's gonna be actually 13. So that's in 13. So there's Prairie Valley there in 13, and I believe that's what the case is. So you're talking about County Road 2102 or?
I think the, if you just go to our county. It's those, that's a somewhat populated area, but people have to drive up, go back, visit their church, go down
Yeah, gotcha. So where's FM 2960? So there's 2960 there, where it tapers off into Cedar Elm Drive, which is the OWB Ranch down there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, let's go back to Morrison and see what it takes to pick that up. The reason we're doing this today is we're not adopting the maps next week in Commissioners Court. This is as soon as I can call a meeting under the elections code and the government code and get some input, because I have to have these maps adopted by the 14th. I mean, we've got to give these guys time to do it. So this is the point of today's meeting, is that we could have commentary on it. If there's something not quite right, we can go back to Morrison Monday and get this knocked out.
That kind of jumped up at me. And we talked about that being good by itself or not.
Look at the numbers, you can't really make that work out. You know, we got a task to back down under 2,900 in the over 18 voting population by taking a lot of, or taking some out and putting it in one, like we talked about. And then
Which
take,
I like that.
yeah,
That's actually, yeah, that. That'd be nice if we could tweak the rest of it. what we talked about, that's what they're just like, you know, to be upset.
Yeah, we're trying to minimize that, we're gonna have some upset individuals. So, yeah, I would go more, I prefer we adopt these maps if this with the caveat that we can, if we can make that change to do so. And basically draw that line from, I guess, down to the creek here, and it's go straight down 2118 down to the creek and that way over, so that takes everybody in down that area. So you see where it makes that jag on 2215 comes down, 2118 is kind of a low population road there, where that comes out Prairie Hawkins Old Folks. Yeah, if you had this come straight. All right, so anyway, if you had this come straight down, this, right in this area here is, we have to come down to the creek. So if you do that, we'll see what that population in there. That's gonna increase the population again in 13, which we're currently sitting, which is a problem, you know, just trying to get the population down in 13 has been a chore. But that being said, there may not be a way to do it without it, so we'll
And
see.
it's still geographically small.
It's just, there's so much population in that precinct. There's really a lot in there. So let's go back to that's a shape file. Oh, there you go. Thank you. You read mine. I like you. So this is going to be 13, the very bottom one, population 18 plus. Yeah, we're at 2964. So, you know, put that back in. We may have 2 people there, may have 100 people there. It being right around 3,000, then okay, cool.
Yeah, it was, I think it's how people, you gotta drive down the whole gate, this is what's gonna be heading, we just don't get that to care.
Well, I tell you what, if the commission will give me the vote of approval on this today, what we'll do is we'll take that line for 13, where it comes down to County Road 2115 and turns south, and currently it goes to 2118 and turns back west. If you follow that line straight south, instead of turning to the west, 2118 down to that creek and take in that area, we'll just go ahead and do that. I'm sure Morrison to do that.
Yeah, that's all the rest of it, but me. Yeah, the background. What's the, that goes a long way to say,
And one thing I need to remind everybody, there are limitations to Freshman Morrison software, and one of those limitations, as we previously talked about, included in the field notes, but it is not included in the map, because the map takes census blocks, it won't take just smaller section. You can't draw a circle and a line, you gotta take what it gives you. Anyway, and that is, JP Brazel came to us a while back and asked if we could move the line to include a home that he is buying for his wife and children, across the Quilla Creek. I said, I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that. He's been good to us, a young fella. We've done dumber things for other people. So I don't have a problem with that request personally. I just want everybody to know, you'd be cognizant that it's not reflected on the map. It's reflected in this 10 pages of field notes I passed out, but that's it.
so, that means we try to.
I said, yeah, we're gonna take it. So, yeah, I talked to Professor Morrison back in point. He doesn't seem to understand use of transaction. Were you able to open any of those DBF files? IT people are still trying to open the DBF files.
We're getting this.
That's those 3 individuals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are different files, they're not DBFs. They're a viewer of some sort. So, Yeah,
I can tell you.
okay, good deal. All right, in which case, then, since I've got everybody here, and we seem to have some overall approval of the map, I'll call for a motion to approve caveat that we, ease the transaction for the people in Prairie Valley, take the rest of Prairie Valley, we turn down. Basically here, we're forcing these people right here in this loop to go all the way up, over, and back down to Fulton Road. So that's probably not proper, so the caveat would bring, I don't know, there's 2115, instead of turning at 2118, come straight down to the creek and follow the creek. That's one huge dude branch.
Put that in the 13.
Yes, sir, put it in the 13. So if that's agreeable, I'd like to do that, give a motion to do so.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the maps with the amendment in precinct 13 to include the entirety of the Prairie Valley area in 13. Is there any other discussion? Commentary, concerns? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion will carry unanimously. I'll get back to Professor Morrison today, right after this meeting, ship him our commentary, get that running. These maps will be on the commissioner's court for final approval on December 14th. As soon as I have a file back from Commissioner, or I'm sorry, from Mr. Morrison that we can open, I will share it with all of you and ship it to you. Tell him I need the entirety of the county this time. But yeah, that's the basis of it. So I thank you all for all the hard work on this and input. I think it's gonna move us forward in our elections, make it easier to operate. So, all right, in which case, anything from party chair reports?
Not for me.
Well, it's gonna be, but that's okay, I can find the.
Sounds good, okay.
I would like to just say, if we're gonna have, let's see, the county will pay for the 2 weeks of early vote.
Correct.
And I know it's hard, and we have 12-hour days, but it really would be good. If over 40 hours per person, and complicate it on the payroll side of things, because they do get overtime if they work more than 40 hours in a week.
Okay.
And so I know that's not always an issue, but if somebody could just be cognizant of that and maybe work the schedule.
Brandon, we'll work that with the elections administration, put you guys in charge of making sure that we keep to the 40 hour. We understand there's gonna be emergencies, somebody's not gonna make it in, somebody's gonna get sick or whatever. But if we can, try to schedule people for no more than 40 hours a week, if that's possible. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, it'll work on getting,
Okay, good. We're and still in the process, we'll close on Huron probably the end of this month. And then if I gotta put porta potties up there, we're gonna vote there March. So
do we have a location for her yet?
we have not gone forward with Hubbard because we haven't had the maps approved yet, but I suspect when Aaron comes back from vacation, that's one of the things he'll work on is to find it. I like the Civic Center unless somebody else has a better idea.
Oh, yeah,
We'll talk with Hubbard this next week and see if they're open to that concept of having us there for 2 weeks.
excellent.
So, good deal. All right, well, there's nothing further. I don't wanna waste anybody's time. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I do have one quick
Oh,
question.
Tom has something. What you got?
These 13 precincts, do we have any idea of what, like one, precinct one is gonna be voting in Hillsborough?
Yes, sir, I believe.
Precinct two would be Huron, not Lemon this time?
Correct.
And precinct three would be Hillsborough?
Hold on, I got the old numbers in my head. I need to pull the new numbers up, so I'll make sure we're on the same place. Yes, sir, precinct 3 is still Hillsborough.
And number four?
Number 4 is going to be a good question. So 4 takes in an interesting area there.
That's gonna be,
It's,
that's not precinct.
yeah, but what was, where you voted?
1713.
Yes, the
Yes.
McAllen, thank you. I don't know if I can get the words up. We're figuring McAllen Valley, the old McAllen Valley Community Center, which is currently owned by the Cowboy Church. And then 5 is gonna be Aquila. 6 is the old Peoria, which is part of that would be in Hillsborough. The question on that one is, do we vote at the Covington Street? Franklin Street obviously is currently taken. We have some options in there, but I suspect
It's gonna be in Hillsborough.
I believe so, yes, sir. And now, all this is subject to Aaron at the end of the day. He gets a lot of say in this, but I'm sure he'll listen to our recommendations. 7 is gonna be Abbott Community Center. 8 is 2604 currently, so I think that's probably where we'd be at. Though that fire department's about to get closed, so
Wait, you said 8 was White Bluff,
yes.
2604.
That's where they used to go.
Yeah, and then so 8 would be currently where we vote in that precinct, that part of the world, and what's in precinct 8 is 2604 fire station. So the 9 is that new precinct that combines Brandon, Martins, and Irene, and I think Brandon is a central area, and it's actually probably the best building in there.
Yes.
10 is going to be Itasca. We've reached out to the Hillco Civic Center to make sure they're still interested. 11, that's going to be a good question. We need to talk about that. It's going to be a choice between Penelope or Malone or Penelope. Or somewhere in between. I don't know where, but again, but we can work that out. 12 is probably going to be in Hubbard, to be frank with you. I know that some people won't love that, but that's what we're going to do. That's reason we're holding the early vote down there, so they've got 2 weeks. I know geographically that's just a large precinct, not the largest, but it's something else. And then 13 is probably still going to be the Lutheran Church over there. Unless we come up with something better in the future, but if we could find something bigger, I'd love to in that area, because that Lutheran Church is really slammed right now.
And that's where I used to go and take a line, go out the door.
You know what, I'll reach out to the Whitney Chamber of Commerce over there and just see what's available in 13, once we get these maps approved, and see if there's something else that we can, something bigger. I got no complaint with the Lutheran Church, it's been a great facility.
Karen is normally the one that works.
Is she still the judge over there?
Karen
Karen Walker?
was, hey,
Sharon is 14. With being,
the former.
Karen is doing 12, which was
Yeah, we used massage class last time. It was small. I mean, but that was because 12 didn't have, after the Methodists said they were tapped out, we didn't have any place to go. But we've absolved ourselves of that. Getting, really enlarging that, combining those precincts. I think we've got a lot of options in there. I think we've got a good idea. But I think we need to go back and refine that in the next couple of weeks and go, hey, really, we need to talk about this facility or this facility. My biggest concerns right now are really going to be the 11 in making that decision. But again, Aaron has to have input on that. And then number 2 is the 13. While we have shrank the size, the population of those guys of that precinct, I think the Lutheran Church takes care of us for the primary. But really, we need to keep our eyes open in the future if we find a larger, more accommodating facility if possible.
my brain, I think.
Have you ever talked to the forum, the Whitney Fellowship Church? I wonder if they would be.
We can approach him. I know Sneed preaches over there. I know, but I don't know who the actual pastor is. Sneed's the youth pastor.
Where's Whitney Fellowship Church?
It's the old forum.
Downtown,
Yeah.
there's more of the chamber events and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can reach out to them and see. Well, there's options over there. There's definitely options. The way we do these, we took in a lot more area in the precincts, so we have a lot, we're not gonna be pigeonholed like we were in 12, where there just wasn't any place you could vote.
Well, they have a big church.
That's true.
They have a big
Okay.
building here.
Well, like I said, we'll get Brandon to get with Aaron, and we'll get with Aaron this next week. I'll get with Morrison today, send emails right after this, and confirm this hopefully by the end of Monday. It's just about maps that we can all open, maybe. And then we'll look over it, make sure there's no last minute changes, no screwy things happen, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
And the only other question I have real quick, once this is all settled, did the elections administration send out new voter registration cards to everybody with the new precincts and everything?
Yeah, we're about.
So that 700 changes you did this week is gonna get real serious here shortly. So that's really the reason we're trying to get these maps done so quickly. Is that it's going to be a huge burden on elections administration to get all this stuff done.
Something that somebody, okay, give me a second. Oh, but you know what, I'm not.
I'm all for it.
Oh, no, I can help.
Great. Yeah, after it's done, tell me, okay, go ahead. All right, anything further, guys? You know, all right, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion, second, we stand adjourned, thank you for your attention to those matters.
Very much.